Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Set Lusting Bruce, your podcast all about Bruce Springsteen, his music, and mostly his fans. I am your host, Jesse Jackson. We are getting off the Bruce train tonight, though I'm sure he will come up as he often does. We are going to talk about a lot of things, including the second happiest place in the world, because the first happiest place is a Bruce Springsteen concert. Second is Disney World and Disneyland. So, Bria, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I am so excited. I'm looking forward to visiting with you. So, tell us a little about yourself.
Let's see. I love long walks on the beach. Just kidding. So I am a writer. I A little bit about me is anyone who knows me knows that I love Disney. I don't know if you can see, but I
Yes.
have a few Disney tattoos and I've made it my entire personality.
Okay.
I'm 31, and so this is the 31 years of culminating all of my awesome I'm looking around my room, I'm like, "Oh, Disney."
If you
So,
can't see mine is Springsteen's Doctor Who. So, yes.
okay, so you understand, we all have these addictions, I'm telling
Yes.
you. I'm not even apologizing for it, I
No.
absolutely adore it. But yeah, no, a little bit about me. I am like a jack of all trades. I am currently trying to make writing my main career, but we all know that writing, well, maybe some of us,
Yeah.
that writing is not a get rich quick scheme. I thought it might be. I'm like, I want to be an overnight sensation. No,
Yeah.
it's actually going pretty quickly in a sense, but it's it's still a thing. So while yes, I would like it to be my day job, I do a lot of other different things. I do a lot of social media things and I'm a boudoir photographer.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit about my background is that I used to work at Disneyland. So Disney is just a huge part and now here I am writing fairy tale retelling. So it's all come full circle.
Do you use and I'm sure you did not have that. Do you use a PC or a Mac laptop?
What's so funny, I actually right behind me, I have my Mac, but I'm currently on my laptop, and it's a HP just
Okay.
because I don't know, someone's like, "The battery life was good." I'm like,
No.
"Okay, I guess." A
Yeah.
touchscreen,
The
plus it
reason
was cheaper.
why, the reason I was asking is Kevin Pollak's partner, when he was doing the Kevin Pollak chat show, she had an Apple laptop, and so the Apple logo, and she had a like Snow White decal set
Oh,
perfectly so that the Apple logo was in the hands. And so,
I think that's very cute with it bitten.
yes.
Oh my goodness, that's actually pretty adorable.
Yeah. So where'd you grow up?
I am from Northern California,
Okay.
born and raised, and I went down to Disney for about 7-ish years until COVID, and then now I'm back and taking a completely different turn of what I thought I was going to. At first, I was a vet, then I was a teacher, then I got my master's in communication studies, and my dad keeps saying, "Hey, you gonna do anything with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm communicating with people all the time. I'm talking a lot, so I'm using that degree." A
I
very expensive degree.
I had a friend, a young man that worked for me during the summer, and he was going to getting a degree in he wanted to have a degree in Spanish and international
Mm,
business, but he really just wanted to be a police officer. And
yeah.
his son kept saying his dad community college, state school. If that, I got no problem, that's what you want to do, but state school. Did you? So obviously, I'm going to ask you about Disney, but before we get to that, growing up, what kind of music was in the house, and was it a lot of Disney soundtracks?
My mother, I am sure she sometimes regrets it. My baby room, my nursery was the Fab Five on clouds, a little
Yeah.
baby Fab Five, and so I really never stood a chance. And so I'm very much a musical girly.
Mhm.
Anything that I can sing to, I want to be playing. Anything that like gets my soul and my energy up and going and me dancing around. Like for my 29th birthday, my mom got me a portable karaoke machine and I absolutely I adore it. One of my most prized possessions. One of my friends dropped my mic and I about had a heart attack. Really anything I can sing, no one really specific. I wanna say it was just the fads. High School Musical was a thing for a hot second. Jonas Brothers was I
Yeah,
went to so many concerts. It and then it I just feel like I've grown, like, Taylor Swift, I feel like raised me for a hot second, and
sure.
then I feel like I aged out of it, and now I'm into anime music, Asian types of songs, Korean, K-pop, J-pop, all of those. I can't sing it,
Yeah, but you love
but that
hearing it.
doesn't stop me from trying. Don't
That's
tell them
good.
though, because 'cause I'll probably offend somebody.
Is there a go-to karaoke song?
There's so many. So currently I love oh gosh, what? That is such a good question. No one has ever asked me this, and I
Mm,
do. But I think I would say the song that really I feel like I can sing well and I feel like I could really let go is called
mm.
Pooled, and it's Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family Musical sings it.
Okay.
And I
Did
love it so much.
did you like the Netflix Wednesday series?
Oh, yeah. Enid, or what was her name? Enid? Enid.
Yeah,
Enid was so cute, and Wednesday was incredible, and she really just embodied who that character is, and she stayed true. The dancing part, I know she's so tired of it. Everyone always
yeah,
says, "Dance." She's no,
yeah.
but it's so iconic. It's so
I
good.
I went to that because I'm a minor Adams Family, it isn't one of my core, "Oh, I love this." I was like, "Oh, let me watch this," and I was blown away how
Fun.
good the series was and
Yep.
how that and the the energetic roommate and the just
So
dry
good.
wit, it was just because we've all done that where we've been plugged into people. I'm usually the energetic
Yeah.
one, and my
Yep.
the other one's kind of looking, okay, tone it down, Jesse. That's awesome. That is so great. All
So
right.
good.
Can you remember your first Disney movie?
I my go-to, my girl who sister from another Mrs.
Yes.
is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. That
Yes.
is my personality, but I will say my first boyfriend was Woody. Woody from Toy Story.
Okay. I remember I'm much older than you
No.
and you know, I think I can remember like in junior high seeing Mary Poppins on the big screen when it was like a
No.
return. But my son was born in 89. And so it was right at the VHS Disney. And as he called it, Beauty Beast was the first film we took to him
Oh.
live. We went to see in the big theater and just those those were part of his childhood, right? Just watching all of them and going and everything. I'll I don't know if you've ever seen this, but Brian Wilson, being from California, you may be aware of him. He was one of the founders of the Beach Boys. He just recently died. Probably about 10 years ago, he did a CD of him singing Disney songs.
I did
So
not know that.
yeah, so you may enjoy if you go to Spotify and something. He just did Brian Wilson Sings Disney and does a whole range of different songs. That's a
I'll
lot of
have to look
fun.
into that.
Yeah. So this just has what about it? And the question I usually ask is, can you remember when you first discovered Bruce Springsteen and what about his music spoke to you? So I'm going to switch this. Can you remember when you first discovered this Disney world, pardon the pun, and what about this story spoke to you? What about these music and these themes spoke to you?
It has I think it just has always been a part of my life. I've been going to Disneyland ever since I was 3 months old.
Wow.
So, I always tell people I never stood a chance. But the movies that spoke the most to me specifically were the Disney princesses.
Yeah.
I love their stories. Prince Charming's gonna come to save me. All I have to do is
Yeah.
just kinda be not be a good girl, but yeah, dot my I's, cross my T's, do what I'm supposed to do, and my goal ever since I was little was go to Disney. I'm gonna live my dream. I ended up doing that, but it's spoken to me ever for as long as I can remember, but growing up and then working there, you get to see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have 4 a.m. shifts, have to be in by 3 a.m. The music's still on, the lights are still on. It's
Yeah.
empty and it's unlike anything I've ever have been a part of before. And it just had made me appreciate it so much. And I always like to tell this story. I've been in and out of church. I'm not very religious. I have my beliefs, but when I was younger, I did go to church. It was an overnight. And we had Bible study the next day, like breakout rooms or whatever. And this lady started bashing on my Snow White. And I'm like, you don't even know her. Do you know what she did for the company? I'm almost fighting this woman. I had to call my mom and say, Mom, you got to come get me. And she's like, why? I don't have to come get you for another hour. I'm like, no, I'm about to beat up this church lady who is now, I want to say she's probably mid 20s at the time. I'm about to
Yeah.
beat her up because she's talking smack about Snow White. She's like, you know what? I get it. I'll be there. Like, no questions asked. I don't even think I was in trouble for trying to beat somebody up or the princesses. But that's how much I connect to these stories and love these stories. There's so much care that gets put into them. And everyone's, oh, they're Disney princesses, they're whatever, and they're not as fierce as maybe other characters, but they are in their own ways. They're beautiful. Snow White, yeah,
Yeah.
she's not an Elsa, but she loves other people and she loves caring and serving and she wants to be a kind ruler and
Yeah.
there's so much we can learn from them and this come on the songs are every song is so iconic. Don't get me started on the Tarzan soundtrack. Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness.
Man, how can you not
When
fall in love with Disney after that?
I remember,
Impossible.
and in fact, my son is currently 36, and I remember going to see Tarzan with
Good.
him, and we still routinely pull up that soundtrack and just listen to it. It's
Yeah.
amazing
Mhm.
that and and you could make the argument, cynical people would go, "Oh, well, okay, they big hit with Elton John doing Lion King, so they just got another pop star." But no, Phil Collins, it the music fit the
Yes.
story and
So beautiful.
yes, so beautiful. And yeah, I think you could make, and I'm sure there are books and out there discussing that the story of Disney and their female leads could tell the story of the woman's right movement and how that changed and how that
It
moves.
has.
Yeah.
It
And
goes with the generations. I mean,
yes.
I have done so much so I wrote a book, of course, and I did the research behind Beauty and the Beast. I did the research behind who was involved, who was the person who created it. Beauty and the Beast just
Yeah.
was tossed to somebody. I forget her name. Woover, doesn't matter. But
Okay.
it was passed to a woman, and she's just bet I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna be amazing. And there's just so much care that went into these characters. She's like, no, Belle's not going to be a Snow White. Even though Snow White is perfect in her own way,
Right.
we're going
Absolutely.
to upgrade. Not even to upgrade, but it's just a very different era. And we just have slowly gotten into this like girl boss movement. And so you're
Yeah.
100% correct about this evolution of where do women fit into cinema and books and do we have a voice? Are we allowed to talk? Do we always have to serve not just men,
Yeah.
but people? Do we have to be in service of others? So it's this evolution is really incredible to see because we can also go back saying it's okay to also not be a girl boss. It's okay to be a Snow White. Anywhere in
Yes.
between is just fine.
Yeah. And I think, like, I remember the first time I watched Frozen. And yeah, and partly because I've just been an admirer of Kristen Bell ever since Veronica Mars, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I need
Oh
to see
yeah.
this." And then you go, the that this is such a strong story about sisterhood,
Mhm.
true sisterhood and family.
Yep.
And I love the idea that they're telling complex stories, whether it's Rapunzel or the Frog Princess, and it's an interesting dynamic. And you're right, the music is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I just absolutely agree with that. I'm debating on whether so I'm going to tell this now, even though it's probably better at the end, but because we're talking about this. So the first time Jay Armstrong, who I will talk about at the end when I ask you the Mary question, when he asked me the Mary question for the first time, I said, I was raised on Disney movies. Of course she gets in the car. I believe in happy endings.
Yeah.
All that, all the computer wore tennis shoes and Blacksbeard Ghost and all these that now are not considered because the new era after My Little Mermaid. But all those I grew up on, I loved those movies. I loved Dean Jones and Kurt Russell and all these stories that were just amazing to me. Yeah.
It's
Um,
incredible.
yeah. So I I love the fact. Why did vet not stick with you? And did you go all the way through vegetarian school?
No, that's just when I was little.
Oh, okay, okay. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
That
All
was my
right.
first thing. I'm like, "I wanna do
Okay.
that."
All right. So you've always sang and you've always loved Disney. Have you always written?
No, but have always loved stories.
Okay.
So, I didn't start writing until I was in junior or senior year of high school. I wanna say it was junior year. And my friend and I were like, "Oh, let's, like, write a story. Yeah, why not?" So, it was on my whiteboard in my bedroom. I'm like, "Oh, this name is cool. What if this name was attached to this name? And, oh, what if this was the daughter of this?" And then out of nowhere, a story kinda came to be, and it's really has changed over the years, but I dropped it for about 10 years, picked it back up a few times, nothing really came out of it, and then around the age of about, I wanna say 25, I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna do this." And I
Hmm.
did. I wrote it in 3 months, but I did write with my friends. I'm like, "Hey, I really wanna do this. Let's do it." And I gave it to her to, "Okay, add your parts." And she's, "You know what? I'm busy." And I'm like, "You know what? I was bit by the writing bug. I have so many stories in my head. I can't not write.
Yeah.
It no longer it feels like you just have to. It's like a compulsion. It's very weird. I don't know how, unless you have it, I can't explain it."
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
remember, and I'm going to date myself, there was a short story from a science fiction writer named Isaac Asimov. And
Okay.
the short story talked about basically this was in the future, and instead of streaming, you basically put on what now would be considered like Google glasses and you would watch videos, you would watch
Mhm.
stories. And the writer, one of the writers, there's during the course of the story, there's three different meetings. And in one of the meetings, a writer says, I'm gone. I have to quit. I can't do this anymore. And
Mhm.
when the producer's, okay, fine, bring me your contract, cut it up, go do it. And in the summation of the story, he asked the reporter, he says, what do you think of these different meetings? And he goes through and he goes, the only one I'm not worried about is the writer. He will be back. Because people like that can't stop writing. They He needed that mental break that he didn't
Yeah.
have to, but the reality is he will come back. And the joke is Stephen King, they'll ask him, where do you get your stories from? The ideas from, and he goes, oh, it's a little boy underneath my bed, this little creature. But the reality is when you're a writer, a storyteller, everything reminds you. Just
Yeah.
anything goes to do that.
Anything and everything. Right now, my biggest inspiration comes from listening to music, watching my excessive amount of animes, which I love, and of course, like reading. I like to
Mm-hmm.
read books within the same genre to
Hmm.
help push me. If I read a book because I write dark romance, so if I read a book
Yeah.
that has a very unhinged character, and I want an unhinged character, I read to give me inspiration. You know, people like this stuff. I can push the boundaries. It is okay. People will read my books. There is going to be an audience for this. So I tend to be more tame until I start realizing, like, oh, no, I gotta get more unhinged. So it's true, you just get inspiration from everywhere. I even go on walks, and sometimes my mind will wander. I'll start because I'm the kind of writer, if I can't see it in my head, I cannot write it.
Sure.
Nothing will come out. And I will also need a break, like that other person
Yeah.
who was in burnout or writer's block. You just need to step away
Yeah.
sometimes, and that's okay too.
So, Bria, I wanted to go back to often people say be careful about reaching your dreams, but it sounds like the dream of working at Disney was not disappointing to you.
No, come back, come
Okay.
back, come back.
Yeah, yeah. You're frozen as well for me. Can you
Okay,
now?
you're
Now,
back.
now we're back. Okay, good.
Oh, so
So,
silly.
yes. Okay. So it sounds to me like reaching your dreams working at Disney was not a disappointment for you, correct?
No, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. I created some lifelong friends and even people that I haven't talked to. Like, I will always cherish those memories and moments that not everyone can say, oh, I got to do yoga in front of the castle during sunrise. That's
Yeah.
with a whole bunch of other people. Or getting a sneak peek of the 50th anniversary fireworks and parade. And there you are standing with people aged from 18 to literally probably 100.
Yeah.
Maybe not that older,
Yeah,
not
but I know what you're
mature,
saying. Yeah.
and they're all screaming for Mickey to look at them and get his attention, even though we all know what's inside. Like, it's unlike anything I could have experienced, and just because it ended, it was definitely very bittersweet. But I do know, maybe my story's not over with them. I do write Disney retellings. They are darker,
Yeah.
but there is an area for that.
What was your role at the park?
I started in food and beverage.
Okay.
And my last like year and a half, I transitioned to PhotoPass, and that was a
Okay.
lot of fun.
That's nice. I what and I know there are tons of books talking about business and things, lessons you could learn from how the Disney runs their parks, but are there things that you picked up that has helped you in your writing life or just your regular life?
I guess in the writing life, I said this on another podcast recently where you learn to create stories in the moment. So your
Yes.
imagination is always going and you're always creating stories. Because what if Mickey Mouse has to run off real quick because something happened in the head. They're injured or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Mickey Mouse had to go get to you with the Minnie. We're so sorry. Mickey Mouse will be right back out. Please just hang
Yeah.
out here." Or you're literally it's constant storytelling. There's children everywhere. You have to be careful about what you say. Even just the interview process. Their main thing was like, make sure the entire time that you're smiling because they can hear it when you smile. Your inflection goes up a little bit. So when I'm doing these podcasts, I remember like smile. I want to be personable to people. I want to be real. I'm not always smiling, not always happy, but this is kind of my default. My default is the Disney look and the Disney attitude, and I really do try to create stories that people can connect with, and I'm really hoping that even with the darker side of my Disney stories, that I am still doing that and connecting. And my main audience, I would say, would have to be Disney adults who
Okay.
don't really want to be saved by the hero anymore. They want the
Mhm.
villain because heroes, as cliche as it sounds, will sacrifice you for the world. But women specifically, general, I don't want to
I
exclude
understand.
men. I don't want to
Yes.
exclude men. It's normally in normal relationships, things can not get boring, but it's just we want a person who will literally burn the world for us. We want
Yeah.
a person who will choose us over anybody else, who won't cheat on us, who won't grow bored, grow tired, make us feel like we're doing too much because we're taking up too much space when we're not. I I was just talking with I was just joking with my friend about, oh, because she's, I'm a gold digger. There's relevance, I swear.
Yeah.
And I told her, I'm like, no, a lady just told me, she's like, honey, there's no gold diggers. You just got to find somebody in your price range. And I'm like, oh my God, you're correct. So, as a person who does take up a lot of space and who is energetic and bubbly, not all the time. Of course, I am an introvert in some spaces, but as someone who does take up space and that can be intimidating for other people, I have to be around people who don't find that intimidating, who finds that charming. And so it's just working at Disney has really helped me grow as an individual, know when to bring out the charm and when to maybe take a step back. We all have our moments. And I don't know, working at Disney just is another it you have a lot of people, half the people there's, I'm not going to work at Disney. I'm not even a Disney fan. And then now they are 50 years later, they don't leave.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
The so what led you to decide to write a book? Was there a road to Damascus moment where you went, yeah,
Well, I don't know really what made me decide to pick up the original book back from high school. Whatever that reason was, again, I don't know because I had picked it up a couple times, but something just in me was like, no, I want to do this. And then when I finally was like, no, I want to do this, my friend was like, can't right now. I'm like, that's unfortunate, but I need to still do something. What am I going to do? So I read the book A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, as a lot of us have. She's a very popular lady. And I was just low key in awe, envious, not in a negative way, but I want that. I want people to create fan art of something that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into. I want a movie made. I want to be on set. I want to be in that reality. I would love that. I would love people who email me and saying, "Hi, I would love to work with you. I want to write songs for your book." Really, I wanted that. And so, what's funnily enough, I was in the shower after I read that book, and I didn't even turn off the water. First world problems, right? Didn't even turn off the water, grabbed my phone immediately, and I called my friend because I'm like, I have an idea for a book. I thought about the ballroom scene because my book is a Beauty and the Beast retelling.
okay.
And it just blossomed from there. I found my editor who really helped to narrow it in, take out we pretty much rewrote the entire book. But that's just how it blossomed. Literally just reading that book, me getting, I always say jealous and envy, but it's more of just like awe and inspiration. I was very inspired by her. And it was like, I want that. Let's do it. And I did it.
Did Why the Beauty and the Beast story retelling? Why did you decide you wanted to tell that story?
Beauty and the Beast is my entire personality. I changed my last name to Rose. Just she's just a huge part of my childhood. I was heavily bullied when I was in school, and so I really clung to Belle's ideals of Belle didn't fight unless she had to.
Yeah.
She was intelligent and she put others, but it's just I don't know, she just was my role model and
Mm-hmm.
I made her definitely into my personality. I actually got to meet the voice of Belle, Paige O'Hara. She like paints, and so I actually want to have her paintings right up there. But why Beauty and the Beast? It's just I just felt like it was fitting. I had just read the Beauty and the Beast retelling, and the inspiration struck. I'm like, oh my God, what a more perfect debut for me to have. And I know the story in and out. And so I had definitely a different idea that I wanted for the story because of course I cannot copy and paste. I don't want Disney coming after me. No, ma'am.
Well, and also that story's been told. And
Yep.
what we want to hear is Bria's
Mm.
version. We want to hear your voice, your
Yep.
stories.
100%. And
Yeah.
it just blossomed. In my story, Belle is the Beast, and then we have Beast and Gaston who are brothers who get trapped in her castle. One of them is not so happy to be there, and the other one is just like, take me, please. I want to be here so bad. Don't make me leave. So it's I took out like the magical objects, I added in a couple new characters. it is a long book, and that is one of the things that people say, "This could have been done in 300 pages." I'm like, "No, not to me, honey. Not to me,
Yeah.
because I didn't want her to fight with somebody and then make up like a chapter later that just wasn't what I was about." So, I really feel like I told the story as authentically as I possibly could. That meant, especially, I'm not known yet. I'm not gonna win. But normally someone's debut is 80,000 to 100,000 max words. And
Yeah.
especially for fantasy, normally they say money is in the series, but of course it's a standalone. It's just, I feel like I have done everything not wrong, but definitely if I tried to go traditional publishing route, I did everything that probably a traditional publishing house dash agent is would say, no, we shouldn't do that because you're going to have a really hard time getting picked up, which probably, yeah. Probably
Yeah.
I would have, because it's just shy of 150,000 words. It is long, and but sorry, I didn't know where I was going with that for a minute. I'm like,
No,
I veered off.
yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, it's the
But yeah.
story you wanted to tell, and you wanted to tell it
Yeah.
the way you wanted to tell it.
I did, and I love her so much. My story, so Belle's the Beast, and instead of her turning into a beast, it's her trauma. In my original draft, she was angry. My dedication for my book was gonna be men dot 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 ugh.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of a mindset I was in when I was first writing my draft. I think I was a little mad at somebody, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it definitely transformed from just a woman being vengeful and angry to someone who just needed to forgive herself for her past and the transgressions that she thought she committed against those that she loved, her kingdom. There's a lot going on with her. And how I feel about like dark romance is that we're just giving people trauma, and it's sexy and it's taboo sometimes. Not in a that way, but it's definitely pushes boundaries. But if you're a dark romance girly or boy, you know that trigger warnings are just a grocery list of, yes, that's
Yeah.
it. This has everything that I want and need. But for people who aren't really familiar with the genre, it's very, what is the word? Healing. My story might be a dark romance, but I created a castle that, my main character kind of houses these misfits, houses this person who was abused as a child, housed this person who was essayed, housed two brothers, one who was going to be forced into a marriage that he didn't want to do, be head of the household and take on a tradition of, it's a thing called the reapings, where a child has to be sacrificed to the beast.
Yeah.
And it's a whole thing, but he didn't want any part of that. And he didn't know like how to get out of it. And he also is confused about his like sexuality, and there's a lot going on, especially this is in the late 1700s, where being a man and enjoying other men is not just frowned upon, but it was not good. We have these people who have been shunned and cast out either by family, friends, the community, and here she is. She's, you know what, I am like an ice queen. I'm putting up my barrier, but I'll let you stay. Just leave me alone and let me be, because I'm cursed. So she has her own issues. And so I feel like I've created this safe space for people who feel different, and all those other things I just mentioned can come and belong. So it's dark, but I really hope that I wrote a book. I read every single one of my reviews. I love them so much. Even the 1 star, 2 star, 3 star reviews don't really say anything bad.
Yeah.
Not really. It just maybe just wasn't for them. But a lot of them, like, this was so needed. I needed this to cleanse my soul. And there, Calathea, who is the Belle character, is just transparent, and she cares so much for those who, I don't want to spoil it too much. It's not really a
Sure.
spoiler. Chapter 1 really just sets the stage for who she is and all that she has to overcome. And what I like best about my story is that it is a story about self-love, and a story that she needs to go through this journey not really alone, but she doesn't need like true love's kiss, like Snow White. The prince had to kiss Snow White in order to wake her up. That girl was in a coma. She couldn't
Right.
get out of that by herself. My characters, they help her along her journey, and they also have their own stories to tell, and it's so long because I wanna take care of everyone's backstories, and I actually just I the thing that I'm really pushing right now is my audiobook that I have, and I actually just listened to the last chapter today, and I cried. I'm like, "Girl, you killed it." My female narrator, Grace Noble, absolutely killed it out of smashed it out of the park. I'm very excited for Jacob Morgan. For those who don't know him, he's like the Taylor Swift of book narrators. He's very popular. And I'm so
Mhm.
thankful that he chose to be a part of this debut journey. I'm not known, and he has worked with crazy popular, amazing, talented writers. And I'm just very honored to by both of them to have been chosen for this project. And I'm waiting for his lines, but I already know. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I it's a story as old as time, and it's definitely going to." I'm so happy that I chose it to be my debut book, and I'm so happy that I did it the way that I wanted to, and that I didn't have to answer to anybody else but myself and my editor because she's amazing.
Yeah.
Hi, Erin. She helped so much. Thank you.
No, that makes a lot of sense that, you're telling the story you want to tell. Have you thought about how you got from loving why did you decide to go dark fantasy, especially after growing up with all this Disney in your
Yeah.
veins? Why did you is there any particular reason why you wanted to do that?
I just think the books that I read, it we started at Twilight, we started Harry Potter, and growing up,
Mm.
I've always been an enemies to lover fan. And yes, did I want the prince? Of course I did. Of course you want,
Yeah.
the beast, and you want I'm trying to think of all the other princes, Prince Charming, and you want all of them, but there's just something about the villain. There's just something about being giving in to your like carnal desires and giving into not having to be perfect all the time. There's so much depth and room for these characters to grow or not grow. There's no expectation. They're very unpredictable. And the hero is very predictable and tends to be one dimensional and don't have to be. It is definitely a surprise when they aren't. Definitely is a surprise when you find out that they're the actual villain and the villain is the one who's misunderstood.
Yeah.
So I think just with media happening right now, the Joker, like you're not born a villain, you're made.
Yeah.
So how? What are these people's backstories? They're tragic. And what's so crazy is a lot of the people that, people like, oh, I'm probably the villain in their story. How did that person become to be the villain in their story? Was their family massacred? I'm thinking about anime. I'm thinking about like Attack
Yeah.
on Titan and all these backstories, and they're just they're just fun. So when I especially like I'm very into the Hermione fanfics. I like Draco Hermione, smart girl, bad boy, and I think just again reading the books and my interests have just changed over the years, and then starting to kind of get into dark romance. It just really piqued my interest, and like everything else I'd like said because I don't really I don't need to reiterate it. It's just my interest just changed, and
Sure.
I don't love those stories any less. I would still take Prince Charming, I would still take the Beast, but I might also take Gaston.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I get
I
it.
love me some white shoes. Hand it
Well,
over.
when it's a cliche, but it truly is a statement. Every well-written villain is the hero of his story. And if you make that's what makes for a good character to go against.
Yes.
Obviously, you're busy promoting and trying to get word out, but what's next for you creatively, Bria?
So, I can announce that I am part of the One More Chapter team. I
Okay.
was Yeah, so for those who don't know, they are part of HarperCollins, and so they're like their online publishing, like, department. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but they do since they are, like, online, they can publish a lot more books in a very quick, timely amount of time instead of
Mhm.
traditional, which is cuckoo bananas crazy,
Yes, I
slow.
imagine.
Which is why I did not go down that route. My editor was like, "Hey, you could self-publish or you could wait about 2 to 3 to 5 years before your first book will even be put on a shelf." I'm like, "You know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna go the self-publishing route because I have too many stories to tell and not I'm 31, almost 32. I don't have any time to waste. So let's do that." But that's what's next. So currently I'm working on a spicy apart from one more chapter, I'm working on a spicy Pinocchio retelling. I actually just got the final product for the cover art back for that. It's called
Okay.
Made for Us. I'm very excited. So the audiobook is a push right now, then the Pinocchio story will come out.
Mm.
I can't talk too much, if at all, about the story with one more chapter until I'm at
Okay.
least done with the
Sure.
first draft. And then just more stories after that. I do plan on a few more audiobooks. So this time next year for sure, I do plan on having at least 4 books out, if not working on the 5th, or if not also close to finishing the 5th, and 2 to 3 audiobooks depending on finances, of course, because those cost a pretty penny.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, and just
Do
keep
you,
grinding. It's nothing but
yeah,
hustle, man.
it
I
is.
tell people that y your success as a writer is different to everybody. 100%, and you are allowed to have that look like however you want. For me, it is the movies, it's the red carpets, it's talking to famous people, it's seeing people create fan art, people create music for me, it's people reaching out, begging me to be a part of their team, book boxes, special editions, it's all of that. It's
Mm.
meeting the fans, it's going to book cons, it's being on panels, it's sharing my art. And I want it to be, I'm not saying I have to be J.K. Rowling. I'm not saying I have to be Sarah J. Maas. I'm not saying that. There are a
Yeah.
lot of smaller writers who are getting movie deals and who are getting these things who are not at that level. I just want to make it a career where that's all I do. I just want to write. I want to do my social medias. I want to do my mark. I just want to be creative. I feel like this life, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, doesn't matter. I've one life in this particular body, in this particular family and friends and environment. I only have one shot at this.
Right.
And I really want to make it count. And I'm hustling. I'm not doing this to just publish a book. Because if that
Yeah.
was it, then I'd stop. But
Right.
I just feel like, yeah, this is going to be a thing. I'm not going to be humble about it. I feel like I am talented. So I'm excited. I'm excited for more people to read my stories. And hopefully one day I can be, when people talk to me, they're like, oh my God, my favorite author, Bria Rose. That's incredible. That I want to see
Yeah.
that.
So, what should I have asked you that I haven't?
Honestly, all of your questions has been really nice and different.
That's very sweet of you to say.
Yeah. No, I don't really have there's no
Okay.
question that I'm just like, nah.
Okay. All right. So, I guess the important thing is how do they find your books and how do they contact you if they want to?
My main source would be my website, especially with the push of the audiobook. Definitely check out authorbriarose.com. That is author, BRIAROSE.com. And I made it really easy for people. That handle is everything. It's my Gmail, it's my TikTok, Instagram. So definitely, if you go to my website, it will have everything, but I have branded myself to make it very easy for people to find me.
All right. So I'm going to ask you in a few minutes some final thoughts and wrap us up. But before I let you go, we've got to talk the Mary question. And I
Yes.
end every podcast with this. Jay Armstrong was an honors English teacher in the Philadelphia area. He's now retired, but when he was teaching, he would give his students the lyrics to Thunder Road. And they would discuss it and talk about the themes Bruce explores and the imagery he writes in this song as if it was a poem. And then at the end of the class, he would ask his students, does Mary get in the car? So, Bria, that is your question. Does Mary get in the car at the end of Thunder Road?
Okay, so I liked your answer. I feel like that's such a Disney answer. I'm like, yeah, you do. You see her get in the car.
Yeah.
So when you asked me that question, I'm like, did I miss something? Did I not watch the same thing? Are there like two versions of this like music video that I watched where this woman 'Cause, like, that she finally gets the courage to go out there and get on that car. It's not there, and she's darn, then she, like, stops and she turns and he's back and they're in the car. Literally, yes.
Okay.
But I feel like metaphorically, maybe not. I could be missing something because I have not taken a deep dive into that.
No, that is a perfectly acceptable answer. Yeah, the premise is, and it's about 50-50. About 50% people say absolutely she gets in the car. And the other 50% say no, she doesn't.
Like the black and
Because
blue and white dress
yeah,
and
he
the gold
doesn't,
dress.
right. Yeah, he doesn't sell her enough, or she's afraid to make the choice. It's safe to stay where she is versus taking a leap of faith. So that's wonderful. Bria, this has been so much fun. I love it. I'm going to pick up the book. I'm looking forward to reading it. Any final thoughts before I get you out of here and remind people where to find you?
I guess my final thought, I want to for anyone who is interested in writing, because I have recently got a few people who are like, "How do I start?" You just write, and then you write some more, then you write more really bad things. And then when you're done, when you think you're done with your first draft, then you go back, you're like, "Oh, this was bad," but you can't edit a blank page. You can't do it. I'm currently working on my first rough draft for my the story for one more chapter, and sometimes I look at it, I'm like, there's no anything in here, but it's after you write that first draft that you go back and you start adding things. Like, you have to make your cake first and then you decorate. Have your base. So, that would be my advice for people.
I think that is absolutely wonderful. When I'm asked about podcasting, hey, I've always wanted to do a podcast. Do you have any advice? I always say, one, make sure it's a topic broad enough that you don't run out of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Two, make sure it's a topic that if no one listens, you're still going to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And three, just do it. Your first couple episodes are going to suck, and then you'll get better.
Yep.
And
Practice.
practice, and it is, life is too short to say I should and get out there and do it. Bria
Mhm.
Rose, this is a lot of fun. I had a blast talking to you.
You too.
Yeah, the her book is Her Dark Promise, available from her website wherever you find books.
Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, just recently
Yes,
Walmart.com. That was fun
yeah,
to find out.
yeah. And I just really look forward to reading it after getting to know you. And I hope a
Yeah.
year from now, when you have all those accomplishments, you come back.
I will. Thank you so much. I had a
All
good
right.
time.
All right, listeners, be safe, be kind, check out our website, sign up for our mailing list.